With Reefstock Chattanooga right around the corner, we decided to experience the area for ourselves. Check out some of the local fish stores and see the sights. Join Salem and I on our road to Chattanooga.
What's up, Reef Builders? Salem and Remy here. We're on 69 Highway on our way to Hardin, Kentucky. We're going to visit Fish Hut, our first store on a tour of stores in Tennessee and Kentucky.
Yep.
Our goal is to get people hyped up and excited about Reefstock.
We have 3 days to hit as many stores as we can on our way to Chattanooga. So we're going to Kentucky, we're going to Nashville, we're going to Chattanooga, we're going to Knoxville, and then we're going back to Nashville again. A little triangle tour of all the local fish stores. And we're passing out these cards that we made. So if any one of the places that we stop by is your local fish store, make sure to pick up one of these cards. Not only will it give you an opportunity to maybe get some free Reef Builders apparel, but also we're holding a contest. So the local fish store that turns in the most of these postcards will get an exclusive video and featured on the Reef Builders channel.
Free advertising, free apparel. Reef Builders, Reefstock, August 24th and 25th, Chattanooga.
To Fish Hut!
First stop was Murray, Kentucky, to a little shop called the Fish Hut. The owner was out but messaged me and said that they're currently in the process of expanding their saltwater section, which is always nice to hear, of course. We'll have to come back soon. They had a bunch of things there in the store. We really appreciated this Planet tank. Next on the list was the town I know a bit too well, Nashville, Tennessee. When we arrived, it was pouring, and there were still thousands of people on Broadway. We were told that we had to go to Aquatic Critter, so that's where we ended up. First impression, this store is so clean, and it's huge. They had quite a selection of fish, and they are also in the middle of a coral renovation. They had a bunch of coral there, but are expecting a lot more here in the future. We loved this Red Sea display tank that featured an interesting chalice that decided it was gonna bounce a couple times. Have you ever had a coral bounce that wasn't a mushroom? Let us know in the comments section below. They also had several nice acrofrags and these bouncing Rhodactis mushrooms as well.
Dude, look at this.
Salem found this beautiful rainbow trachea. Oh my gosh, this thing was amazing. I don't know why it's still there, but this thing belongs in a hobbyist tank ASAP. One cool thing about Aquatic Critter, they've got freshwater section, they've got shrimp, they've got saltwater, and they've also got a reptile shop next door. And again, this place is super clean. From there, we hit the road to Chattanooga, and I gotta say, this drive is awesome. I've never driven in this part of the country before, and I love all the hills. Our first stop in Chattanooga was a place called Fish Mania. We met the owner, Ethan, who in the last few years of owning this place has made some significant changes to the store. He's got a couple monster tanks in the shop, again, freshwater and saltwater. He's got a coral display, there's some frag tanks, live rock, and a large selection of fish, again, both salt and fresh. Salem fell in love with this puffer, and if I had a counter on him for how many times he said, I need to start a freshwater tank, it was at least 1,000 times on this trip. And if you're into this kind of thing, this was the first time that we had ever seen the glow angelfish in a store. So about 10 minutes away from Fish Mania is a store called Bermuda Triangle Tropical Fish and Supplies, and walking in, both Salem and I were blown away. Someone with OCD runs this place. Everything was so well organized, the displays were on point, and I especially loved this, what I'm calling a sliver reef. It was so mature, lots of great colonies in there, and just this little bitty sliver of a reef. They also had a couple biocubes set up and a really nice planted tank in the wall. And then we were shown the back room. So when you open the door, you see walls just lined with 50-gallon lowboys and coral everywhere. These tanks were full of coral. And I know that we could have sat back there and just shot for hours with all of the different species in these tanks. But we had to keep moving, only 3 days out and about, so we had to get on to the next experience. I think one of the highlights for me of this trip was getting to experience Chattanooga. And if you're driving, you'll see no shortage of signs for a place called Ruby Falls. In a nutshell, Ruby Falls was discovered in 1928. After the discovery of the cave housing Ruby Falls, the tunnelers kept digging to locate the original cave they were searching for, the Lookout Mountain Caverns, which they reached 1,100 feet underground. I think this is a must-do while you're in Chattanooga. If you're traveling, go check it out. I think it was only about an hour-and-a-half commitment, and then from there, we went up the mountain even more to Point Park for amazing views of the city. It was $10 to walk around and plan a little extra time up here because it is so peaceful. I think one of the cool things about having Reefstock in Chattanooga is that there's just so much to do here. Salem and I decided that we were gonna do Ruby Falls, which is what?
An underground waterfall.
Yeah.
Cave system.
Yeah, it's really cool. So we did Ruby Falls, and now we're at Point Park, and the view is unbelievable. You can see all of Chattanooga from up here.
Way down, way up top.
Yeah.
Same place.
Yeah, so we're doing this right now, and then we're gonna get some lunch, and then we're gonna head over to the Tennessee Aquarium. Let's go.
Come and see the cave bacon.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. The cave bacon.
Cave bacon, cave potato chips, cave steak and eggs.
You'll know what we're talking about when you come to
Come
Reefstock.
see it.
Yeah. And our last sight to see on the list, of course, was the Tennessee Aquarium, and it did not disappoint. There's a saltwater building and a freshwater building, and each has their own showstoppers. We love the coral tank for obvious reasons here at the Tennessee Aquarium, but they had so many displays, including this cold water tide pool with all these nems. It was so beautiful. I love when aquariums have these big Pacific octopuses on display. They're just so inquisitive and so interesting to watch. Over on the freshwater side, they had some monster fish. Seeing a 10-foot arapaima was nuts. Dare I say, I might have been more impressed with the freshwater side of this aquarium than the saltwater side. Both were awesome, but I don't know, I was just blown away by that monster fish tank that they've got. We didn't have a ton of time here, but again, we could have spent at least a couple more hours here. On our way to Knoxville, we stopped by a place called Reef Chasers. This is in Cleveland, Tennessee, and they had several coral flats right when you walk in to your left with a healthy selection of livestock. And I asked if they were open to the public because a lot of these local fish stores that are in these warehouse settings, you know, have odd hours, and they're totally open to the public. And this is a running and operating local fish store, so you got to go check them out if you get a chance. You can also look for these guys at Reefstock Chattanooga. They have a table there, so they'll hopefully be bringing some stuff, but they won't be bringing this because I bought it. The biggest button scully I've ever seen. This thing was so big, and I don't know if the camera is doing it any justice, but that one's going in my tank at home. This is another store that just kind of kept going. All these tanks on the wall. What's really cool about these was their cords go through the wall into this room. And look at this cord organization. Oh my gosh, all of our OCD reefers should love this. We got a couple hats, we got some coral, and we took off to our next shop in Knoxville, which was our last shop, and it's called Aquatic Marine. The owner, Kenny, was there. He was awesome. He let us shoot some of their tanks. Loved this upfront pricing system that they had. You match up the coral on the grid or on the egg crate with the number on the TV screen to give you a price right there. I really, really love that. They had both freshwater and saltwater as well, but the coral that both Salem and I liked the most was this OG bounce mushroom. This thing was bubbling. There were 3 to 4 stores on our list that we didn't get to because they were either closed, they were renovating or moving, but we will be back soon to this area, so very excited. Awesome to meet everybody in person.
All right, well, that is a wrap on our 3-day trip to Chattanooga, Nashville, Knoxville, and now back to St. Louis. So we're on the road back to St. Louis. What was your favorite part, Salem?
I like that we saw 2 Radio Shacks.
We totally did too. Somewhere in Appalachia, We saw 2 Radio
They
Shacks.
still exist.
They still exist.
I also like the cave bacon.
Cave bacon.
Cave bacon is
Cave
pretty
bacon.
good.
Yeah, there's a lot of cool things that Chattanooga has to offer. Obviously, Reefstock Chattanooga, August 24th and 25th. We hope to see you there. Reefstock.show/Chattanooga. Links in the description below. But it's become a tradition for Salem and I, when we're on the road, to go to a very special place.
A very American place, I'd have to say.
Do you know what we're talking about? Yeah.
Yeah.
It's Buc-ee's.
Why don't we just show them? Yeah.
We're going to Buc-ee's. Hey, thanks for watching. See you in the next one.